Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Faith, and today guys I'll be checking out Piers Morgan clashes with BLM Organiser over Colonial Reparation, and he's asking her, how much do you want from me? And you guys, I'm super excited as always. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please consider subscribing. Give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And you guys, let me know your thoughts on this slavery reparation subject that's been going on. Are you for it or you are against it? What do you think about slavery reparation? For me, I don't think anyone should be paid any form of reparation because the people that were directly affected by slavery are long gone. And without much ado, let's see what Piers Morgan has for us in this video.
The new bombshell poll published today shows that nearly half of the King's realms would vote to become republics if they had the chance. Caribbean countries cite colonial ties as the reason for wanting to part with the monarchy. And pretty disturbingly for King Charles, 10 of the 14 countries polled say they back the Sussexes, saying Meghan's treatment exposes racist views. It's ignited debate about whether King Charles should apologise for Britain's past sins, maybe even pay reparations.
Why?
Would that make any difference?
I don't
Or would it
understand.
just fuel the fire of republicanism? Well, here with me now to debate this, the former royal butler to Princess Diana, Paul Burrell, the activist and organiser of Black Lives Matter protests, Iman Ayton, and the historian and royal author, Dr. Tessa Dunlop. Well, this will be a quiet debate, won't it? Well, you brought your earplugs, Paul.
I won't get a look in.
Paul, let me start with you. I've got a problem with this constant looking back in history, feeling guilty for stuff that none of us in this era actually did, and then having to say sorry for everything that we didn't do, and even now, apparently having to pay people today for stuff that happened to their ancestors many generations before.
Wow.
I don't really get what that achieves.
We should learn from lessons of the past. We can't change anything, and we should move forward.
Absolutely, we can't change anything.
The Queen's greatest achievement, his mother's greatest achievement, was the Commonwealth of Countries. She was very proud of that. I think if we could beam her down now, she would say, my Commonwealth. That should survive intact into the King's reign. So he should do whatever he can. Now, bear in mind, I've known this man for a very long time.
Yep.
He has a voice. And he will say what he feels.
Here's the real problem he's got. There's another voice yapping away about racism. Two voices. His son Harry and Harry's wife Meghan, who for 3 years have branded the royal family a bunch of callous racists. That is now turning up in these polls because, understandably, frankly, black people in the Commonwealth around the world are going, whoa, really? They're racist, these people, and yet they haven't produced a shred of evidence for any of it.
You and I know the royal family are not racist, and you and I know that they pressed the racist button on the Oprah Winfrey show, and they never apologised to the Queen.
Never.
She went to her grave thinking there was a racist in the royal family.
And after she died, they said...
What happened?
We never
didn't say that, the press said that.
We didn't mean to say it was racism.
Why didn't you correct it, Harry? Why didn't you tell your...
Well, we know why, because it made them... They weaponised racism and mental health to make themselves extremely rich.
I totally agree.
All right, come on. This is my problem. This has always been my problem with this racism narrative that these two have spun without any evidence, is that people around the world, particularly people of colour, they believe it. And why wouldn't they believe it? They're hearing the first person who wasn't a white royal bride say they're racist, these people. So then the damage is palpable, it's tangible, and it will lead, I think, if we're not careful, to a load of these countries becoming republics and the beginning of the end of the monarchy.
Thank you for your soliloquy.
No, thank you.
All right, no problem. So first and foremost, my feelings on the royal family and racism are not predicated on Harry and Meghan's willingness to identify it. That's the difference between me and you. We are talking about a country that was built off of racism, and we are referring to the oldest institution in this country that started it all. So that's the first thing. In terms of why black people and many others feel the way that we do, well, the monarchy is a symbol of white supremacy. Okay? White supremacy. That is the reason.
Why does it make any difference if King Charles says sorry? Or why does it make if he pays money? What difference does that make?
I don't even know.
Okay. So reparations...
How does that combat racism?
No, it actually does. So let me
The guy hasn't got a racist bone in his body. He's done more for racism than any public figure in the country. Why should he be paying for the sins of people hundreds of years ago?
Okay, so can I finish?
Yes.
Thank you very much. So, The monarchy is a symbol of white supremacy, which is what black people have had to contend with for the last 400 years, notwithstanding the fact that Elizabeth, or every king and queen, from Elizabeth I.
You think the last late queen was a model of white supremacy?
Let me finish my point. You just asked me several questions. Let me finish my point.
Well, answer the question.
Right,
then.
I'm getting there, so just finish.
Well, hurry
Let me
up.
just finish, okay?
Hurry up.
So, every king and queen from Elizabeth I to William IV has supported and profited off of slavery. So, this is about the fact that this country was built off of racism, and that's
this
the
country
point.
also
Wait, hold on a
led.
second. This country
You can't just keep
stems
talking.
no, because I haven't even finished my point.
You
Piers.
can't just
keep
make
interrupting.
outlandish
You
statements
keep
about our royal family and not
interrupting.
expect me to jump in.
Piers, you keep interrupting. Can I finish my point?
This country also led the world out of slavery.
Okay, so can I finish my point?
A long
Right.
time ago.
Can I finish my point, please?
Yes.
Perfect.
So please finish it.
I will, no problem, just be patient. So, every single king and queen from Elizabeth I to William IV over a 270-year
You've just
period
said this.
supported the enslavement of Africans and profited as a result. So it
Yeah.
doesn't, it doesn't
And this
take any
country-
genius, hold on a second, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that this country was built off of racism and it stems from white supremacy, all of which is directly attributed to the crown, slavery and colonialism. To answer
you
your
now-
point, let me finish
You can't
my
just
point.
keep talking.
Piers, you keep interrupting.
Answer
Let's
my
have a
question.
Let's have a conversation.
Answer my question.
Let's have a
We need
conversation.
mediation
You spoke
here,
about
guys.
slavery. You spoke about slavery. Let me answer my. Let me
No,
answer the point.
I asked you a specific
Let's-
question.
I want to
Why
answer
should
the point.
King Charles
So let me answer the
be
point.
either apologising
the point.
for what happened centuries ago
Okay, let me
or
answer the
paying
point.
money
Why
for it?
exactly?
Okay,
Yeah.
so what you're talking about is slavery. I'm not talking about slavery. Slavery can be traced back to Europe, the Greek slave trade to be specific in 400 BC, then the Roman Empire, and then we get to the Muslim conquest of 7th century.
And
Vikings,
black people had slaves
So what
too,
we're talking about,
right?
exactly. So I'm not talking about
slavery
Piers.
comes in
I
many
am not
forms.
talking about
There is a lot of slavery around
Piers,
today.
So I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about colonialism, neo-colonialism, racism,
Yeah.
racial disparities, and the racist system of oppression and exploitation of black people and white supremacist attributes, which have been rebanded under the
What's that got to
That's
do with
what I'm
King
talking about.
Charles?
I am telling you why he needs to apologise and pay reparations.
What did he
It's
do?
not anything to do with slavery.
What
Slavery is
did
an
he
element.
do?
I'm telling you, colonialism, neo-colonialism,
He didn't do
racism,
that.
racial disparities and a racist system of white supremacist attributes. That is the legacies of the crown, slavery and colonialism that still remains.
I
to this day.
understand.
Let me finally get my point across. Lord,
You've
need
got
to
your
let me
point
finish.
across, but here's my point, my counterpoint to you. What's any of that got to do with King Charles,
Okay, so I'll
who
explain.
actually has been, I think, one of the great standard bearers in royal history for actually promoting racial inequality and tackling racial
Okay,
injustice.
so let me
And yet you
explain.
want him to be issuing grovelling apologies for people hundreds of years ago,
So let me
and you
explain.
want him to pay money.
Okay, so I think black people would be far more inclined to get over it if it wasn't for the fact that the legacies of the crown, slavery, and colonialism still remain, which includes racism, racial disparities, and the racist global system of oppression and exploitation of black people. Which
All right, you're not
I'm telling
answering my
you
question,
about.
Tessa.
I am, but you don't want to accept
No,
it. That's
I
the
do.
difference.
No.
That is the difference.
You haven't explained
You
what-
also have the
what's
wealth
that
of
got to do
economic
with King
expansion
Charles?
as a result of exploitation of black people.
Let Tessa-
And you also have
let
racist
Tessa
global-
speak now.
Hold on. You haven't even let me finish, Piers. No problem. No problem. I've understood
You've
how you
done
do.
9/10 of the talking.
No, you didn't let me
Tessa?
finish. You didn't let me
I
finish.
You've
wonder.
heard the debate.
I think you're both wrong, actually. On the one hand, we celebrate, and you certainly do, Piers, the idea of monarchy as continuity.
Yeah.
Going way back when. I mean, I read an article this week that traced the anointing oils to the Old Testament and King Solomon. You can't pick and choose which bits of that continuous historic line you like.
Yes, I can.
Well,
How is that
you,
that I'm
you
wrong?
can, but it's hugely,
But
it's
how is it that I'm
hugely
wrong? How is it that I'm
problematic.
wrong? What are you
And I
talking
would
about,
counter
Tessa?
to you, where we have the face of history and the physical form of history in our royal family.
White
When,
supremacy,
when
that's what
for
I'm talking
example,
about.
France, the Republic, outlawed slavery much later, and in the civil wars in America,
keep
that's what
talking
it
about
took in
slavery.
America
Let me talk-
much
let me tell
later.
you.
So
you
my
keep talking
point
about
is, no, two
slavery.
seconds.
Hang on.
Let me finish my point.
You see,
Let
you
her
want to
finish.
interrupt, but you interrupted me several
let me
times.
finish
Piers. I
one
see
You
your
did all the
hypocrisy.
talking.
I see your hypocrisy right now. It's fine. I did all the talking.
I think
You
what
kept
you do,
interrupting me.
what we're doing here is
Let
we're
her speak.
conflating an individual
Back at you.
family with institutions of state. You can't expect a king to apologise. He doesn't have that power.
It's
He
about
would
what
have
he
to be
represents.
told to apologise
It's about what
by
he
the government
represents. He's already
because it's an
apologised,
institution of
Tessa, so I don't know what
state.
Do I have to? All right.
He's talked about
I don't know
sorry.
what
Excuse me.
He
Time
hasn't-
out.
he
Time
hasn't
out.
actively apologised.
Time out.
In terms of slavery,
Time out,
hold on
time
a
out.
second. You keep talking about slavery. Let's just be clear about slavery. Yes, you did end slavery. You've made that point and you've made that point, so let me address it. You did end slavery, and there was a clause in the contract that said, for example, that Jamaicans had to work up to 45 hours a week for the following 4 years, whilst you simultaneously paid off the slave owners and left the enslaved and their countries to rot. And then you transition to colonialism, where slavery still continued, and then you transition to the Commonwealth,
I agree.
where you continue to assert your dominance, exploit black people, and do it in a far
I
more dignified
agree,
way, while
Iman.
simultaneously
I
This is
agree.
all-
But
the-
it's
all
regardless.
negative.
There are also-
Nobody's-
excuse me.
Nobody's refuting.
Can we all stop talking?
Nobody's
All
right.
refuting the
You're really
repugnance of that
Can we
period of
please
history.
time out? The biggest problem with slavery right now is there are between 7 to 10 million slaves in India. Last time I looked, that is not as a result of white supremacy causing modern day slavery. I would rather we expend all our energy on current slavery issues than going back
I'm
in the
not talking about
past,
slavery.
as we now
I'm
do
not
with,
talking about
we
slavery.
now go back in the past for everything,
about slavery then.
wallowing in self-guilt about stuff that had nothing
I'm not
to do
talking
with
about
us.
slavery.
Paul,
Legacies. You
Jump
ignored
in.
that
Well,
conveniently.
well-
Legacies of the crown slavery and colonialism. You ignored that conveniently.
Do you-
Please
okay.
continue.
This is such
Please
a
continue,
negative.
Paul.
This is a
legacies
negative
going
side.
back how far? How far do you want to go back?
400 years, black people have been constant.
Okay, so
what
I
do you want them to do?
Okay,
I told you that.
So do you
I told
think
you
the
that.
Vikings should be paying me money for what they did to me?
See, you're talking about slavery. I am not. I already explained
I'm not
that
talking
to
about
you.
slavery.
I'm talking about colonialism,
You're not listening to me,
neocolonialism, racism
Imam.
and racial disparities that still contend.
Stop
that
shouting.
contend-
You're not listening to what I said.
You're not listening to me.
Should
This is why I'm
the
getting angry.
Vikings and the Romans also,
Hi, Paul.
through their modern day ancestors, be paying me reparations for what they did to my
Okay.
family?
So I'm not talking about slavery. I'm talking about colonialism.
It's not
neocolonialism,
slavery, you're not
racism,
listening
racial
to me.
disparities. Yes, I am.
The Vikings and Romans didn't make us
I am.
slaves.
No, yes, you're talking about the Roman Empire, which included
No,
slavery.
I'm
That's
talking
what
about the
you're talking
Romans and the
about.
Vikings coming over here and causing immeasurable harm
Yes,
to my
which included
ancestors.
an empire and
Should they be-
slavery.
should
An empire
Italians
and slavery.
and
I'm talking
Norwegians
about
be paying
colonialism
me
and
reparations?
neocolonialism. There's a
In one
difference.
sentence,
There's a difference.
Iman, in one sentence.
Go ahead.
What do you want? In one sentence, what's your
Reparations.
idea?
Thank you, Tessa.
Money.
You want money?
You want money?
Reparations.
You want money? Okay.
Reparations.
Then I want
Why?
money from the Vikings and the Romans. Paul,
I think
Paul, be very patient.
No, but the Commonwealth is a force for good.
Yes.
Oh,
Commonwealth
really?
countries. Yes, it is. They
Okay.
do.
Absolutely.
They work for each other. It's a family, a community of families that help each other. That's why it was formed. And
No, you benefit more. That's why it's formed.
no, we don't benefit
No, you
more.
benefit
They
more.
benefit
That's
as
what we're
well.
talking about. You
They,
benefit
they
more.
do benefit. Of
Paul,
course they do.
Paul.
Yes, they do.
Yes, I'm not saying that they don't. What I'm saying is that we benefit, you benefit, you benefit
Everyone
more.
benefits.
Exactly.
All right.
You benefit,
Iman,
you benefit,
Iman,
you benefit more.
Iman,
That's white supremacy.
Iman,
that we're
how much
talking
money do you
about.
want from me?
That's what I keep talking about.
How
Okay,
much
so
money do you want from
the
me?
National Commission on
like that
Reparations said that
question.
Jamaica, for example, is
How much do you want from me?
1.2 trillion. I'm
How much
telling
do you want from me?
It's not about my feelings and not from you. I'm not. This isn't about me and
We've
you.
all got to chip in, right? So
Yes.
But you
how
want it
much
from
do
the
you
top
want?
jar.
This
How
isn't
much
about-
money could
No,
I
it's the
give
taxpayer and the
you
monarchy.
for something that had nothing to do with me,
Both.
right?
That's why I want it.
How much money could I give
No, we're
you to
talking about
make
the legacies.
to make
Keep ignoring
racism
that
better?
conveniently.
Nothing
Keep ignoring
is
that
the answer.
conveniently. We're talking about the legacies of the crown slavery and colonialism, which includes
Or
racism.
just
All right.
one-
I don't know why you've
and
come on deciding to
colonialism.
speak
I've
like a
told you.
robot today,
I've
but it's
told
not.
you.
It's not
Because
really
you
working.
Don't listen because you don't listen. That's
Okay,
why.
but that nor does talking to me like that doesn't work.
Okay, well,
right?
how about
But I will
listening?
happily
How about
pay.
listening?
If you could convince me that it will change racism one iota in this country, I will pay you a check for the damage inevitably that was done by my relatives when they weren't being attacked by Vikings and Romans. I will pay you reparations if I think you have any argument for why I should.
Can I give
and you
you
know
a
what?
response?
There isn't one.
Can I give you a response?
No,
that you're
we've run
willing-
out of time. That's
See,
it.
the
Oh my gosh, you guys. I have never witnessed a more heated argument on Piers Morgan's show. This is deeper than what I've been reading and hearing about concerning this slavery reparation, because I don't know why King Charles has to apologize for what he knows nothing about, what he didn't do. Oh my gosh. You guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And even if King Charles apologizes to the black race, does it even erase the racism that has eaten deep into our society? Would the apologies be enough, or what they are trying to benefit from all of this is just being paid money? And if they have to pay them, how much are they actually going to pay for the slavery reparation? Let me know all of this in the comment section. I really enjoyed this heated argument on Piers Morgan. It was so intense and wow. If you enjoyed watching, give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And this is me officially signing out. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.